let's talk about the future roadmap of the channel. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. Before I start talking about what is my roadmap for the future of the channel, I should apologize for the lack of activity in the past few weeks. It was summer, I had to deal with my kids, they had online courses, my PC was busy, the real life. If you watch YouTube and you search the keywords fabric modding tutorial, or I don't know, Minecraft fabric mod tutorial, anything like that, you will see two or three very active people with lots of history, and they have more than a few videos. But when you look at their channel and you look at their content, they are repeating themselves over and over. This is not how I want to continue forward. And this video is all about the future of this channel. When you learn basics and you want to move forward, there is a huge gap. You know the basic knowledge, you know what you want, but you don't know how you should make a bridge between your basic knowledge and what you want. If we look at my roadmap, the very first step was my mod template and then data gen. And I talked about it in the very first video. Why did I start with data gen? Because I don't want to be one of those guys that tells you, hey, start with JSON, and then you will have typos and you will pull your hair and things won't work. A professional programmer will start the easy way. And data gen was the easy way. Then the next step in our roadmap was basic concepts. In this basic concepts, we had covered the new mod from template, our first items, blocks, item groups, our recipes using DataGen, and special blocks means blocks with functionality in them, and tools, effects on tools, armors, full armor effect, and item and a block with custom classes, although these are not finished because you will see that in future we have to cover some other knowledge bases and then we will come back and fix these two classes. We talked about tooltips, storing data on our item, the tuner item, custom tags, fuel and food, and ore generation. And here is where I stopped because I was debating if I should put the custom commands and debugging into intermediate. And if I would want to put them there, the whole thing should have been in different way. However, I decided that, you know what, base commands are not difficult to make and they are basic knowledge. And after that, we will cover how you should debug your mod and possible solutions there. And this will cover the base concepts. As you see, we have only one or two videos to cover, and then we are done with our base concept. Then we start the next milestone, the intermediate concepts. Here we will talk about a very difficult situation, and that is breaking a big mod into more smaller modular mods. And we will put a whole video on that. Then we will talk about how you should ask for help. This topic alone, believe me, needs a video because during these last few years, I had problems and then I learned the proper way and I saw dozens of people coming and asking their questions in a very wrong order, and people had to challenge them for maybe hours until they understand what is the main question. So this needs a whole video for itself. Then we will have two very critical videos. One is how can we look into the vanilla code and learn from it. Of course, there are people out there telling over and over to do this. They make tutorials and they're constantly saying that, hey, tweak the numbers, play with the numbers, go look into the vanilla code, blah, blah, blah. But they don't tell you how. And let's say that I want a very special functionality. And I know that vanilla is doing it, then how should I find that functionality code-wise inside vanilla code? This video is all about it. And then we will do the same thing about other people. There are lots of mod developers, and how can we do the same research on their code? Finally, we go to the next step and we will talk about events. When we finish events, finally we can finish our tuner and teleport villagers. Then we will talk about block states. For block states, we will cover block properties and something that most tutorial makers jump over it. And I don't understand why, because it's really important. And that is understanding the direction, the property named direction, and how to use it, and how to utilize it, how to understand it. And we will cover that. Then we will go into something that should actually be inside the advanced steps. But here, right now, we are really close to that advanced stuff. And I want to cover it here, part of it here at least, and that is serialization. And we will have a dedicated video about the meaning of serialization, and then another video about codec, maybe more than one video about codecs. Codecs are really important. They are relatively new in Minecraft, and unfortunately, there is no good tutorial about codecs in YouTube. People talk about it and they say, don't be scared, just put this line of code there, it just works. That is not how you should learn. So we will dive into codecs. We will understand what is a codec and how does it work and how does it serialize and deserialize data. And then we will utilize it in another video for data component types. And we will understand this very new concept. We will find how we can make our own data component types and where to learn about it. Finally, we go outside of coding and have a little fun with Blockbench, very basics of Blockbench, and make our own custom block models and then move them back into Minecraft. And then we will talk about block model varieties, how we can make the block look different based on conditions like a property on the block. And that will be our intermediate concept. Finally, we are moving toward more advanced stuff. However, if you look, I didn't separate the block entities, mod contents, and word generation section like something between intermediate and advanced, because almost all of these are intermediate to advanced topics. Some of them are intermediate, some of them are lenient more toward the advanced topics, but they are concepts that you should learn before looking into this branch. We call it advanced. Okay, after we learn about the codecs and properties and how we can model our blocks, we will dive into block entities. We will understand what is a block entity, and we will develop our very first block entity without a user interface. That will help us understand the anatomy of the block entity itself. Then we will talk about sided inventory, and unlike others, we won't copy paste the whole class. Yes, the class is provided on wiki pages, but we will rewrite it, retype it to better understand what is going on inside a sided inventory. Then we will understand the GUIs for block entities. The very first step is to develop a GUI for a block entity using vanilla way. And finally, we will make a GUI using libgui library. After that, of course, what is a block entity without energy, fluid, gas? I don't know. Take a stuff. Okay, we'll cover energy handling for a block entity. After that, fluid handling. And we are not just making a fluid container, we will go beyond that. We will work with library packages. We will develop our own dedicated library package. And we will make a fluid utils class. And this will become really handy in every mod you will write that has to deal with fluids. After that, we will make a custom recipe for our block entity and make use of DataGen to generate the custom recipe JSON files. Then we will go into REI compatibility, and REI compatibility will have two main goals. One is to turn off some things inside REI. When we are making our block entities that don't have GUI, some of them should be hidden because we don't want players to see them inside the block list of REI, and they don't have any recipes, so we will deal with them in REI compatibility. The other section is how to show our recipes in REI, and finally, how to show the fluid in REI. Finally, we go into custom renderers and we will talk about OpenGL drawing on top of your model for block entities. Now, this topic was a hot one back in old days when Sir Lexmanus was the main decision-making god of modding community. Many people were against using OpenGL directly to draw stuff. They would use some funny logic. We will talk about it in the video when the time comes very deeply because their logic made no sense whatsoever. And finally, we will learn how to do it. To hell with the old-fashioned thinking. After that, we have a new branch, a new milestone, and this is custom mod content. Now, these are separated videos, and sometimes you may want to use one of them, sometimes you may not want one of them. For example, you may want to have a mod dedicated for paintings. Personally, in my mod, paintings, no, I don't need them. Shields, I don't need them, but we will cover it. Horse armor, enchantment, loot table, villagers and village traders, and wood types, signs and boats, and then custom enchantments, loot tables, and modifying the vanilla loot tables, effects and potions, custom fluids, and custom advancements. As I said, these are pieces of puzzle that you may pick up or drop based on your need for a mod. Then we will go for word generation. We already covered word generation. And you see it's not here. Actually, I put it inside the basics. But word generation was part of the word generation. However, I think many mod developers need to know about word generation. However, again, word generation branch is something that, like mod content, are pieces of puzzle that you may or may not want to be in your mod. So we will talk about tree generation, flower generation, crop generation and blocks, taller crops, and not only 2 blocks, maybe like sugar canes, 3 blocks or higher. We will talk about trees that grow on a different blocks other than dirt. And when we want to generate our trees, we have to talk about trunk placers and foliage placers, and then custom geodes if you want to, custom biomes, custom dimensions, custom portals, and here is a spoiler. We will develop our own void dimension. Later, when we are moving toward the end of the series, we will talk about a mining dimension and stuff like that. Then we go into the advanced milestone and branch. Now, this part is a hell to cover. We will start with packet codecs. Remember, we covered the base codecs inside the intermediate, but we will wait until here to talk about packet codecs. We will deeply talk about networking. However, remember, in the middle of block entities, we will pick a view on the networking, but we will not dive into it. Then we will talk about mixing, maybe for more than one video, because mixing is a really important piece of this puzzle all over the place. And you may not believe it, but I think at least 30% of mods that want to do serious stuff other than just items and blocks need to deal with mixing one way or another. And we will learn about the basics of mixins. Then we will learn about mixing extras, something that is new again inside the recent versions of Fabric. Then we will come back and finally fix our elevator because for that we need mixing. We will prevent our items from being enchanted. Now you may say, hey, wait a minute. When you were creating your tools, you set the enchantability to 0. So I can't put the tool inside the enchanting table and hope for the best. Then what is this topic about? Yes, you can't use enchanting table, but here is a cheating until then. You can use enchanting books and anvil. This topic is to deal with this problem. Prevent items from being enchanted inside anvil. When we are inside mixin, we will go and cover something else that is special drops for a mob. We will talk about that later. And we will cover that because it needs a little bit of mixing tweaking. Finally, we can develop our custom bow because again, for custom bow, we may want to deal with mixins because we are dealing with bows. We can finally talk about model predicates. Then we move forward talking about oxidizable blocks, special drops if you want to, and structures, entities, and mobs. Finally, balancing your mod and putting persistent data on the player or the world itself. At the end of this advanced branch, the base knowledge concepts are all covered up. However, we are not done yet. We will start learning how to dissect an already existing huge mod into sections that we will understand and learn from it and use it. So we will start talking about how to properly dissect a big mod. From that point forward, we will take some concepts or some ideas from already existing, maybe old mods, maybe another mod that is doing things differently, and we will implement them. For example, we will make our own custom backpack. We will make our own custom chunk loader, custom shulker box. Oh, I love this one. Lots of inventory. Custom fluid tanks, energy generators. Okay, we are going to our tech mods, custom HUD, and dissecting industrial mods for pipes, cables, conduits, storage. Then we will dissect a magic mod and we will learn how to remove enchantments or add enchantments by code. And we will have our own custom block for that. Then we will make our own custom spawner and maybe draw more advanced stuff. Maybe draw more advanced stuff using OpenGL. And finally, this is a maybe. Maybe we want to take a look at pistons and learn how to make them a little bit more fun. However, there's no promise there because pistons are crazy these days. Okay, is that the end? No, that's the future roadmap start. At the end of this branch, I have no idea what else I can cover for you. However, this whole roadmap will take more than maybe a year. Who knows? Especially the dissection branch and advanced branch. During that year, I hope that I will get feedback from your comments under the videos or maybe in the Discord channel. And those comments will guide me toward what is needed to be done in future. And we will take a look at that future roadmap when the time comes, and we will move more and more toward harder concepts inside Minecraft modding. Beside this roadmap for Minecraft, our series for Java will continue. However, Java series will not last long because we already covered, I think, half of the series right now. And when it's done, it's done. I don't want to be one of those guys that every now and then make a video show you how to make this fancy looking interface for Java and maybe make some demo applications. No, no, no. We are learning the core concepts of Java there. When that series is finished, we will see what will be replaced for that. Maybe Neo4j. There is a big if there. I only look at Neo4j when Neo4j is in a very stable situation for long time maintenance. I will only move toward Neo4j and talk about Neo4j at that point because in the past year, Neo4j was totally unstable. They had redone the whole network. They had redone parts of the core functionality in Neo4j. They had to do it. That made Neo4j a little bit of a no for time being. If we can talk about Neo4j at that time, well, we will talk about it. If we don't, then we'll sit back and talk about possible different things that can be added. For example, Unity 3D is an option, Unreal Engine is an option, hell, even playing KSP is an option. Whatever you want, okay? So just put a comment under this video, tell me that what do you want to see when the Java series is finished? As you see, this whole roadmap will keep me busy for over a year or two. I made a donation system and you can donate any amount of money that you like. However, unfortunately, the only way for me to accept donations is by using cryptocurrency. Thankfully, these days, everyone knows about cryptocurrency. Hell, if I wanted to talk about this concept 4 years ago, many people would say, hey, what is US Tether? What is Bitcoin? What is Litecoin, Monero, or anything else? Thankfully, many people are aware of cryptocurrency these days. So there is a donation link inside every video description from now on and forward. And if you want to donate any amount of money for me, you can use that system. Just be aware that you can only donate cryptocurrency. I really appreciate your donations. That would be a huge help and support for me, and it will help me focus more on making quality content for you. Please tell your friends about this channel and its contents. Help me grow this channel and the community around it. Trust me, there are not many quality tutorials when it comes to modding Minecraft and beyond the very basics. And it takes time and effort to sit back, think about what I want to teach you, how I want to teach you. And it really takes time to make these videos, edit them, publish them in such a way that they will look good and they will really teach you something. Also, English is not my native language. It's really hard for me. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.